Violence continues in Khartoum in Sudan. We are given to understand that the Indian government is closely coordinating with various other countries to ensure the safety security of Indian nationals in a violence-hit country. Now, do remember that there are believed to be about 31 to 35 Indian nationals who are currently stuck inside Sudan, even as fighting between two groups is raging on. Now, the External Affairs Minister has said that India is closely monitoring the situation and trying to make sure that they are able to evacuate all the Indians who are stuck inside Sudan. Let's go across to our Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, who now joins me on the broadcast. Abhishek, good morning. Abhishek, give us more details in terms of the plan that perhaps the Indian government is looking at to be able to evacuate Indians who are stranded there.
Well, so far as India is concerned, Nupur, there are 1,000 plus, perhaps more Indian origin people or Indian citizens working there in Sudan taken together. And it's a difficult situation with the fight breaking out between the country's army and the paramilitary forces headed respectively by two generals. And essentially, it's a power struggle between the two officers, which is leading to this situation, which has seen in the last 4 days about 300 people dying and chaos reigning on the streets of Khartoum, the capital of the country. India has issued 3 specific advisories to Indian nationals to take care of themselves and not move out on the streets, and yet we have seen at least one Indian citizen dying to this civil war panning out in Sudan. Now, this advisory and statement coming in that we are not just closely watching the situation, but coordinating with other global agencies and other nations as well. Remember, yesterday we had some pictures or reports coming in of troopers belonging to the paramilitary, the RSF, storming into some UN facilities, and there is clear danger to even the diplomatic teams of not just India but other nations and multinational organizations. And the situation is dire, obviously. There was 24-hour ceasefire that was announced yesterday, but it seems that on the ground it has had less impact than it was intended to have. So I think a fluid situation there in Sudan, Nupur, Indian agencies and the Ministry of External Affairs coordinating attempts to, if need be, evacuate some of them. But then for that, the ceasefire has to hold. Remember, we saw those pictures of international airlines, civilian aircraft being bombed and, being put on fire at the Khartoum International Airport and Merawi International Airport, even as they were parked there. So even for evacuations to happen, there has to be a semblance of peace to prevail, at least around the international airport there. And till that happens, the advisory is stand that anyone who's there, so far as Indian nationals go, they should be taking care of themselves in the best possible manner. And there are numbers issued and they should be connecting with our diplomatic team there, even as agencies make attempts to create a situation where, if need be, evacuations can be carried out, not just for Indian nationals, but obviously even other nations wanting to do it.
Now, Abhishek, even as, the larger advisory that's been given out from India suggests that people should shelter in place where they are, things look quite difficult over there, don't they? Because, pictures that came out yesterday from the Khartoum International Airport seem to suggest that, fighting is raging on in areas near there as well. So, in terms of, international agencies, how far can they really, help resolve this and at least effect a ceasefire so foreign nationals can be brought out?
Well, you see, Nupur, the situation is so bad that even the UN staff and their employees, the UN employees and, even other international organizations that have been working. Remember, Sudan has been a war-ravaged, civil strife-torn nation for a while. And in fact, we saw how a division of the nation happened a few years back, between Sudan and South Sudan, essentially vis-a-vis along the religious lines, with the North, Muslim North versus Christian South. But the situation now is internal. It is essentially an ego battle and a turf war, a power struggle happening between two generals heading the official army and the paramilitary force, the RSF, and the military, of course, headed by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and then we have the RSF, which is headed by another general, and they are jousting for power, and that has led to this latest round of fighting that's going on. The RSF headed by General Mohammad Hamdan Dagalo, and the fact that the truce is not holding clearly suggests that it's going to be a few days before any sense of normalcy prevails. Pending that, the global community obviously hopes that at least a ceasefire which is implemented properly around the airport helps whosoever wants to evacuate their citizens,
right.
and those working for international organizations, their safety is taken care of, they're safely evacuated.
All right, Abhishek Kapoor, appreciate your joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much for that information.